Where have I been? Where did I go? Why have I disappeared over the past few months? Let's get into all of that. Hi friends, it's Madison. Welcome back to another episode of the And Also podcast. Yes, I'm wearing pink, which is unreal. I don't know if I've really ever worn pink on this show before. I don't think I've worn anything other than black or white. I'm in a pink sweater today. I just didn't feel like changing. If you're new here, welcome to the show. I'm Madison, the host. This podcast is all about grief, death, mental health, all of those really fun topics. Gotta love it. In 2022, one of my best friends and my ex-partner, Regis, died from suicide, and it took me on this journey of just trying to understand grief, understand my feelings about it, and just find a place where I could feel less alone. And so this podcast was born. Now, obviously, the last few months, I have completely disappeared. I have good reason, at least I think. And I just wanted to catch you guys up to speed about what's been going on, where I've been, why I literally vanished from the face of the earth on my Instagram and here. I'm okay. Everything's great. Everything's good. But let's just get into it, okay? Also, two things. First, the camera quality. The camera quality, y'all. I got a new camera. I wanted to upgrade, especially with the client work that I do. I got a Canon EOS R8, and the lens that I got is literally the best thing that I've ever used in my life. Literally, this costed a down payment on a car, but it's okay. I'm very happy with it. Like, look how good. Oh, you can see each and every pimple and pore on my face. Love it. Oh, the other thing is I have noticed 2 other podcasts pop up in the past few months called And Also Podcast. Girl, we've been at this since 2023. There is no need for that. So that's really annoying and frustrating because why did you not look that up before creating a podcast? Now there's 3 of us. I have been the longest standing, and I have a trademark submission in right now for the title. So there's that. So let's get into where I've been. I vanished. I have been really distant from this platform particularly. I've actually been posting a ton on my main Instagram, which is at MadThreads. And even my main YouTube channel, I've been popping up more consistently there, also at MadThreads. And I've kind of stepped away from the grief and death world for a minute. First of all, if you don't know, I'm in school for mortuary science. I'm becoming a funeral director. I talk a lot about that here on this podcast. I also have a full-time job. I own my own digital content agency called MadThreads Media, where I edit, do videography, do all sorts of digital marketing work for influencers, brands, companies, and that takes up a lot of my time. I have a list of podcasts that I edit and produce. I have YouTubers that I work with for video editing. I have Instagram influencers that I work with or businesses that I work with on their Instagram page and their video content. So I have that. And then I also work at a funeral home, which I think if you guys watch this podcast, you know that. A lot of my clients, the content that we make together is grief related or death related. And I think when it came down to it, between the funeral home and being around death literally all the time in a very real, raw way, and then also coming home and editing videos about death and grief, and then going to school and learning about death and grief, and then living in every moment in between in my own grief, I was like, wait, I actually don't have it in me to sit here and talk about this even more. And that was really where this break sort of spawned from. I think I almost felt like I was overloading myself with thoughts of grief and death, and I was really stuck in a hole that I did not even realize I was in because every aspect of my life fights to normalize how much I talk and think about these sorts of things. And I think I got really swept up in it, and I got really emotionally invested in death to the point where I forgot that I needed to live. It was all I could think about. It was all I could focus on. every aspect of my life started to become wrapped in fear of those around me dying or losing people, or just the crazy whirlwind of like negative feelings that being in that grief state, like it just got so stuck. I got so mentally beaten down, and I was just thinking about death the most I've ever thought about it. That was really, really hard. And it's difficult because I love the work that I do. I love talking about grief and death. I love normalizing these conversations. But I think for myself to come back home to me, I just needed to step away from it because it felt like every thought I had was consumed by the darkness around grief and death. And I think with this line of work, especially in the funeral business and death care, you're seeing grieving people on a daily basis. You're dealing with deceased people. You are seeing death. You are seeing the nasty, the real, the vulnerable, the heart-wrenching sides of it constantly. And I would deem myself a fairly emotionally grounded and strong person, but I did not realize the toll that this line of work would take on me and how quickly that would happen. I don't even have my license yet, and I'm struggling sometimes. I think it's hard because on top of that, you know, I have my business and I have school, and I think it's just not allowing me for much downtime to recover because I get home from the funeral home and then I have to edit or do an assignment, write a paper. I'm actually currently writing a paper about schizophrenia. So now I'm like thinking about schizophrenia and oh my God, it feels like I can't really get a break. Whereas I feel like if I had my license, I was done with school, and I was solely focusing on my career as a funeral director, this would be different because I would have some downtime, even if it was fewer and farther between, but I wouldn't have to come home from, you know, a long day working with death and grief and then, you know, hop on the computer and take an exam or hop on Adobe Premiere and edit a podcast about death and grief. It's just been a lot of figuring out the balance of that. And I think just something had to give in the meantime. Like in that experience, I had to like take a step back and say, okay, I actually do need a break. And what can I eliminate right now that is causing me an extra layer of stress that I just don't have the space for? And unfortunately, it was this. It was like, wait, I actually need to step away from doing this for a minute because it's just too much. So I hope all of that makes sense. But yeah, that's sort of where I've been in terms of actual updates. I mean, school is going great. Work is going great. I really do love what I do, even though it does come with its hardships. And I'm doing a lot better. But the last few weeks, it's just been hard. And I needed time to create content for myself that was not related to the thing that I'm focused on 90% of my time. I wanted to create fun content, to get back into my fashion content, to get back into my lifestyle content. And that felt really, really good for me. And I'm going to continue to do that because it feels good. I am sort of at a crossroad here, like with what I want to do with this show going forward. I love talking about these things with people, and I want to keep that as a huge piece of this. But I also want to make it more lighthearted in many ways and have episodes where I just sit down here. Maybe we talk about something going on in the death world, in the grief world, in the mental health world that's a hot topic, or, you know, just things that are a little bit more exciting. So if you have any ideas of how we can incorporate other types of content into the grief and death conversation, let me know. I know my friend Erin suggested reacting to different media that explores grief and death, and I think that's a really good idea. So I really want to do that. It's just a matter of finding the time. And do you know how many people have been like, you should react to 6 Feet Under? I'm like, I will, I promise. So yeah, I just want this space to remain something that does bring me good feelings and doesn't feel like a stressor or something that I begin to resent. Like, I always want this podcast to be something I can come to when, you know, I need my community too, and when I want to provide something for our community here. And it started to feel like I didn't have that anymore. Like I was resenting sitting down and talking. I was resenting having to edit because I was just so emotionally spent. But alas, I'm doing better. I had been struggling with sleep for a long time. So I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to get a sleeping medication prescription with my psychiatrist, and we trialed it, and it's been life-changing for me. I know a lot of people are anti-medication. I don't care because my medication literally makes it so I can function in society. So I got on some sleeping medication that has been helping me so much with insomnia and not being able to stay asleep and waking up feeling exhausted. And I've just been trying to focus more on self-care and balancing my own needs with the needs of everyone that I am helping around me. And I think that's something we all struggle with in so many ways. Finding that balance is really hard. Yeah, that's where I'm at. That is everything that I feel like I need to update you on. If you guys have anything you want me to talk about, any hot topics in the mental health world, any guests that you want me to bring on, definitely let me know. Oh, something else I was thinking too is I'm toying with the idea of not really talking too much about my career as a funeral director as much. I think I need to restore this as a place where I just talk to people about their grief experiences. As much as I love talking about death care in the funeral industry, I feel like I need the separation for the sake of my well-being, for the sake of my mental health. I feel like I need space from that when I get home and when I'm in my studio just hanging out. It's a lot. And I think it's not like I'll never talk about it again, you know what I mean? But I want to go back to the roots a little bit, and I want to just share stories. That's where I'm at. I hope you understand why I've been gone. I am so grateful for those of you that have stuck around, that have reached out, that have continued to engage with older content. I think that is just amazing, and I am so grateful. I don't want to say I'm going to be back every single week. I want to try, but also I want to give myself grace, and I don't want to hold myself to an unrealistic standard. So I'm thinking maybe every other week, or sometimes you might get an episode every week. I don't know. So I just hope you stick around. I hope that you still enjoy the content that will be coming out in the next few weeks. I have some interviews that I'm really excited to share. And yeah, that is really it, you guys. So thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for being here with me and supporting me and just being the best community that a girl could ask for. I love you all. I hope you're all doing well. Any ideas, feedback, comments, please leave them in the comments on YouTube or DM me on Instagram @andalsopod. Yeah, just connect with me, and I will see you guys very soon in a new episode. I love you all so much. Also, I do have some new projects in the works that I'm so excited to share. I'm just not there yet, but stay tuned on all my platforms. Follow me at Mad Threads, blah, blah, blah. It's always all linked in the description box. And I will see you guys very soon in another episode. I love you all so much. Bye.